Hi, I'm Jacqueline at JMPotential, providing leadership development and consultancy. The following clip is from a course that I deliver around handling conflict in the workplace. The course starts off with looking at different personality types. And the reasons for this is because research shows that one of the top reasons for tension in the workplace is due to personality clashes. So I always feel that it's important to be able to understand about your own as well as your colleagues' preferred approach to work and also their preferred style of communication. So here's the clip. The other clash that happens in the workplace, the two extremes, is approach to work. So say, for instance, you've got a deadline. Now you get some personality types who are what we call judging. Now they know that's the deadline, and what you see with the people who have a much more preference to judging is that they will do bits of work and they plan it out, and then they'll finish the work just before the deadline. And it's sometimes because they want to maybe just tweak it a little bit more just before that deadline. Whereas the other type of personalities, what you might see with them is that they know that's the deadline, and you may not actually see any action. You might see a little bit of action, maybe part of the way, and then towards the deadline, you see this hive of activity just before the deadline, and they hit the deadline. Now, that is not to say that, the ones who just hit the deadline, there's lots of action just before the deadline, are lazy or anything like that. It's not at all. It's just that's how they approach their work. That's how they're energized. And each one, it doesn't mean that they don't hit their deadline. They hit their deadline, but they just have a different way of going about it. Now, what to recognize with this is if you're dealing with a colleague who is what you consider almost like doing it last minute, so you need to recognize that that might cause tension with you if you're the opposite. So if you're the person who likes to plan it out and have it all done way before that deadline, but your colleague is the opposite of you, we need to recognize they will still get that done and have that trust. They will still get that done. And you, by keep checking in and checking in and checking in, is actually going to put them off like being able to do that piece of work. Okay. The other thing as well about the initial people who do these little bits of work as they go along and just before they finish the deadline, and finish just before the deadline, for instance, is that if you change the goalpost at the last minute, they will find that really quite stressful and get annoyed by it because they feel they've not got enough time and they planned it. So that's something to be mindful of as well. Whereas the opposite of that, the P's, the personalities who almost do it like almost last minute, looks like last minute, they actually find last minute changes refreshing. They're not bothered by last minute changes to the goal, to the target, things like that. So it's just important to recognize that all of us, our personalities, there's something really good about that personality, but there's also the flip side. So no one personality is any better than any other. It's just we have a different way, and there are positives to that. There's also some blind side or negatives to that as well. Hi, I hope that clip was useful. And if you want to see some of the comments regarding that course from other participants, then feel free to have a look at the testimonials. Or if you have any queries regarding that course, then please feel free to get in touch through inquiries@jmpotential.co.uk. Thank you.